The darkness in your home isn't just the absence of light. It is something that watches, something that waits. You can feel it every night, lurking in the corner of your eye, shifting in the hallway. But when you look, it's gone. What is it? What does it want? Imagine you're home alone. The house is quiet and everything feels normal. But then you hear it, a sound, soft, almost imperceptible, but unmistakable. Footsteps. Someone walking in the hallway, just outside your door. But no one is there. This isn't a story about a creaky floorboard or a gust of wind. This
Please like and
is
subscribe
something
Horror
far
Room
worse.
channel.
Something that has no explanation. Something that thrives on the fear of its victims. Welcome to the shadow in the hallway. The house felt safe. At least it used to. Your footsteps echoed through the empty corridors as you prepared for bed. The house had been quiet all evening. No strange sounds, no strange feelings. You crawled into bed, turning off the lights, and closed your eyes. But just as you were about to drift into sleep, something made you open them again. A shadow, a figure, barely noticeable, in the hallway outside your bedroom. It was long, stretching unnaturally across the floor, like some twisted form of darkness that didn't belong. It didn't move at first, just stood there, as if waiting for something, but you didn't know what. And then, it moved. A slow, deliberate shift, a shape that wasn't quite human. You could make out a figure, tall, slender, its outline jagged and unnatural. It wasn't a person, not a human being. Number, you froze. Your breath caught in your throat. You wanted to scream, but no sound escaped. You blinked, and the shadow was gone. Just like that. You convinced yourself it was just your imagination. Maybe the moonlight had played tricks on your eyes. But deep down, you knew. Something was there. That night, you lay in bed wide awake. The house was silent, but it wasn't comforting. The silence was heavy, thick with the tension of the unknown. You tried to sleep, but your mind raced. Then, the sound came again. It started low, almost like a whisper. Footsteps, soft and deliberate, as if someone was walking across the floorboards just outside your room. You held your breath. The footsteps seemed to move away, then pause, just outside your door. You couldn't see anything through the cracks of the door, but you could feel it. The presence. It was as if something was standing just on the other side, listening to you, waiting for you to do something. And then, it happened. The door creaked, slowly, as though something, or someone, was gently testing the handle. You dared not move. You dared not breathe. It stopped. The footsteps faded into nothingness. But you knew, deep in your bones, that it wasn't over. It was just waiting for the right moment. The days passed, and the house became a different place. Every shadow in the hallway seemed to stretch unnaturally long. Every creak of the floorboards made your heart race. You told yourself you were imagining things, that you were just being paranoid. But then it happened again. You were sitting in the living room, staring at the wall, lost in thought, when you heard the unmistakable sound of footsteps, faint, yet chilling. This time, you didn't hesitate. You leapt from the couch and rushed to the hallway. Nothing. Just an empty, dark corridor. You called out, asking if anyone was there. Silence. Then, you felt it. A cold draft brushed past you, and from the corner of your eye, you caught it. A glimpse. Just a glimpse of something dark, something tall and elongated, slipping into the shadows at the far end of the hall. Your pulse raced. It wasn't just the house that felt different now. It was you. You were changing. The fear was becoming a part of you, and something told you it would never stop. As the days turned into weeks, the shadow in the hallway grew bolder. At night, you could hear it more clearly. Its steps were heavier, closer, and it always came when you were alone. No one else seemed to notice. You even tried telling your friends, but they dismissed it as nothing more than an overactive imagination. It wasn't until you started to find things out of place. Small things. Items in the kitchen moved slightly. Books on the shelf were rearranged. The air felt colder than usual, and you'd swear you could feel eyes on you when you were in certain rooms. Then, one night you saw it again. But this time, it wasn't just in the hallway. It was at the edge of your bed. The shadow hovered there, tall and looming. It had no face. Just a figure draped in blackness, so dense it seemed to absorb the very light around it. The air became thick, suffocating. You wanted to scream, but your throat was dry, constricted, and then it spoke. A whisper barely audible, but unmistakable. It wasn't your voice. It wasn't anyone's voice. It said only one thing: you are mine. You bolted upright in bed, eyes wide, heart hammering in your chest. But the shadow was gone, vanished, just like before. But you knew it was not gone. It was waiting. You couldn't sleep. You couldn't eat. The terror was consuming you, each night drawing you deeper into its grip. You tried everything: lights on, doors locked, windows shut tight. But it didn't matter. It was always there, lurking, watching. And then, the dreams began. They weren't like normal dreams. They felt too real. Every time you closed your eyes, you saw the shadow. It was everywhere, looming over you, reaching out with long, thin arms. It would whisper things to you in your sleep, things that made no sense. You know what I am. I know you. You can't escape. You tried to ignore it, tried to push it away, but the more you resisted, the more it seemed to grow, to consume you. You began to wonder, had it always been there? Had you always felt its presence, even before you noticed? One night, you woke up, drenched in sweat, gasping for air. Your heart raced, your mind was shattered. You stumbled to your feet and rushed to the hallway, drawn to it as if some invisible force was pulling you. The hallway was empty, but you knew it wouldn't be for long. You turned to go back to your room, but as you did, you heard it. A faint sound, footsteps, but this time they were closer. The darkness in the hallway felt deeper now, heavier, and then you saw it, the shadow. But it was not standing still. It was moving toward you, closer and closer. Your legs felt like lead, your breath caught in your throat. The shadow stopped just in front of you. You couldn't move, couldn't scream. All you could do was stare into the endless abyss that was its form. And then, it spoke again. But this time, its voice was not a whisper. It was a command, a promise. You can't run from me anymore. The door to your room slammed shut behind you with a deafening crash. The lights went out. The shadow was with you now, inside your
Please
room.
like and subscribe Horror
You
and
tried to
channel.
scream. You tried to escape, but it was already too late. The shadow in the hallway had claimed you, and now it would never let you go, would never let.